I've worked many jobs before in my life. Many jobs I've been employed at. I started working at 14 years old at a fast food restaurant and pretty much have worked different jobs, employed at different places my entire life, and every single one pained me to my soul. Now, that's no exaggeration. As of right now, I'm all out on my own business ventures. I've reached that point where I can no longer be an employee. Of course, it's better for me financially now. And honestly, I should have made this move a long time ago. Now, in the time of me as an employee working at all these different places, I've always hustled different things on the side. Always. From the last, I would say, probably 8, 9 years, I've been making money online in different ways. I've had online stores, I've dealt with digital marketing, selling online products. I've made a lot of money sporadically online, and I've also made money on the side with other endeavors, working for myself, doing different things. Although while I've been hustling, doing these different things on the side, working for myself, things like that, I have always been employed at the same time. I've managed restaurants, I've worked in sales jobs, a lot of sale roles. I've worked in several roles as a salesperson in different corporate settings. For the last, I would say, 6 years with the jobs I've been working, I was making over 100,000 in these jobs. I would say that if you do go down the employment lane and you're not working for yourself, that sales is probably the best avenue you can get into. It is, in my opinion, the best skill to master as far as employment. You want to work with a company that's got good paying commission, where there's not much cap. And initially it can be good. Initially, if you don't know what real money is, you can be very happy with getting paid what you sell. Depending on pretty much every single company, if you become a salesperson at what you're selling, the profit that you make as an employee is essentially breadcrumbs. Margin is it's nothing basically. That's why I've had to change. I've had to make the change for these past few years as being an employer instead of an employee, and reaping all of the benefits instead of just being fed breadcrumbs. And it's really not only about the money. You can become very wealthy, working in a job that's paying, just say you get paid 6 figures. You can save money, invest, and flip different things to make your money that way. So hypothetically, if you buy real estate, you can flip real estate properties and become very wealthy, multi-millionaire that way. But in my opinion, it's a lot deeper than that. It's a lot deeper than the money. I genuinely believe that you're either born that way or you're not. I feel like, and this is not a bad thing, because if you don't mind working for someone, it's great. But I know there's certain people out there that they cannot work for another person. They cannot be subservient to certain things. Definitely one of those people that I've always had an issue working for an employer. If I was making $500,000 at a job, I would still feel trapped. Maybe it has something to do with ego. Maybe it has something to do with pride. I think the majority of people, work happily until retirement. I don't know. I feel like some people don't feel like that, and they work till retirement, and basically they're just broken people. And I've seen a lot of that in my life, maybe in this day and age. A lot of people that are older and they have a bit of debt, they're broken. I know that sounds a bit intense, but I've seen it. When I was younger, I worked different jobs, like I said, and some of the jobs I worked were in warehouse work, so factory work. And I came across people that were working in that warehouse or factory, and they had been there about 20, 30 years. And it's one of those things that if you know, you know. Warehousing work is one of the most, and this is not just me saying this, I think collectively the majority of people, even the ones working at warehousing till this day, will agree it's one of the most soul crushing jobs in the world. And that's facts. Maybe I hated it more than the rest, but it was basically slavery, torture of the soul. I definitely couldn't do that for a long period of time. My point is, I think the majority of people end up working somewhere they hate because they eventually get comfortable. They lose the fire inside them to try something, to start something new. And it takes a lot to go out on your own. You need fire inside you. Once you lose that, you're basically trapped. You're trapped in the system, and you basically have to follow a certain way of living for your entire life until you die. It's a sad thing, but it's a great thing because you get what you put in this world. If you know deep down that you can't be working for a boss your whole life and you want to be the boss of your life, you don't want to answer to anyone. You want to have financial freedom. Real money comes from being a boss, an employer, getting a full size of the paycheck, not someone cutting you at 1% of what the value really is of what you're selling. If you don't mind having a predictable, mundane life, same thing every day. Like, I'm not gonna bag those people out because if you're happy living that particular way, that's cool. It makes me panic. I could never ever live like that. I could never do it. And I know that a lot of other people have that feeling too. A lot of other people want to be independent. Want to control their lives. They don't want to be controlled. And like I said, a lot of other people, when you get to a certain age, you're comfortable. If you're watching this right now and you're sort of in a position where you're working for someone and you want to start your own thing, you want to do this, there's no time in the day, you're tired, you don't know what to do, there's many things that can stop you. You might not have money to invest in yourself, but the thing is this, and I truly believe it, there's a way around everything. You have to think like a problem solver. God would not put you in a position to not get what you want if you don't put in the work. And to be honest, anything is easy. You just have to look yourself in the eyes, in the mirror, and ask yourself, how bad do you want it?